Every single time I try recording on here with Photo Booth, I always accidentally take a picture of myself first, and then I get like a really awkward looking picture of myself. Yes. It has been a long time. Yeah, I have not updated my blog in forever, and it is a combination of being very, very busy and very, very lazy. So I'm going to do it all now. So here's the past 5 weeks-ish on Rapid Fast because it's almost dinner time and I really don't want to miss dinner. Number one, school. These past few weeks have been midterms and I feel really good about it. I feel like classes here are maybe a little bit easier than they are back in Chicago because the professors are really, really understanding of the fact that we are all traveling and we all have other things that are important for us to be doing other than just schoolwork. All the professors are very intentional with what they have us do. I'm feeling really confident in all of my classes. I'm not in any math classes this semester, so feeling good. Yeah, my favorite class is still writing in Rome. We've completed a bunch of stories now. Right now we're in the revision process of some of our longer stories, and I'm really excited. It's been really fun. We've had a ton of really awesome on-sites, and yeah, I look forward to that class every single week. Work is still work. I work at the IC on campus. I work 3 to like 7 hours a week ish. My job doesn't consist of much except for helping people check out books or print things or work the copier or the scanner and making sure that everyone is quiet. It's a very easy job and I'm really thankful to have it on campus. Calcio has been great, even though my team has not done great. I don't want to talk about it because I'm not happy about it. Every single week I say, we're gonna win. And Christy tells me if we don't win that I'm not allowed to sleep in the room. And then every week I walk in, I'm like, you won't believe what happened. And it's embarrassing. We have beat one team, but we also played all the most difficult teams first. And a lot of the things, like one of the times, like we got a goal and the ref didn't count it. And I mean, I can make excuses, but everyone makes it to the playoffs and my team's gonna kill it. It's been really fun though. I really enjoy, my team is made up of a bunch of awesome people. Just playing the game is really fun. I'm part of Team Rosa, and it's a lot of fun. So I'm really, really enjoying that. It's definitely a highlight. We play every Wednesday night, and it's a highlight for sure when the games come around. Other than that, I have been doing a lot of traveling. It's been so long. To start at the beginning, I first went to Malta and it was amazing. It was a study trip, which means that it's organized and kind of facilitated by the school. One of the SLAs, Fran, went with us and organized it, and we were going to look at part that Malta plays in the refugee crisis that's going on right now. So we worked with JRS, which is the Jesuit Refugee Services. As a Jesuit university, we partner with them a lot for various different things, but we were meeting up with their office in Malta and got a presentation from them. We also went to a church service with a refugee population. Other than that, we really didn't get to do a ton because most of our plans for Saturday with a man from JRS, he was sick, and so we weren't able to do it. But we still got to talk with a lot of people and learn a lot about the governmental approach and then what JRS does, and then hearing some testimonies from people who have escaped some really awful things. I got to spend a lot of time in Valletta, which is the capital. We actually ended up being in Valletta during the celebration of St. Paul's shipwreck, which was wonderful. It's kind of like their Christmas, and so it was really, really cool to be there for that. We kind of just lucked out on this trip altogether. We had really delicious food, got to see really beautiful parts of the island. For me, the highlight, there were a lot of really high points. I don't know. It's really hard to pick a highlight for that trip because there was so much goodness. And I think I just felt really, really at peace and at home being there. It was a lot more similar vegetation-wise to home, and it was really nice to be out of Italy because I was still really struggling to find a belonging in Italy. So I'm really, really thankful to have gone on that trip, and the group that I went with was amazing, and it was just a really good time. Really beautiful people, really beautiful culture, really beautiful place. And I really hope to go back at some point in my life. Weekend 2, we went to Naples. I went to Naples with Christy, Teresa, and Sophie, and it was a ton of fun. We all stayed in a hostel, which was amazing. It's called the Hostel of the Sun, and it was really highly rated, but we got there, and it was just a really, really cool environment. Everybody there, it was 20-something-year-olds just traveling, a lot of them independently, a lot of them with groups. Nobody was really on spring break yet, so it was a lot of people just kind of traveling for the past months. We met so many people from so many different countries. Within 30 minutes, I had spoken English, Italian, Spanish, and French to different people. There was a little girl there who spoke Spanish. Her and I played ball for a while. It was just a really, really great time in the hostel. Outside of the hostel, Naples is a really interesting place. We really didn't spend that much time in Naples because for the time that we were there for a whole day, we went to Pompeii. We wanted to go and hike Mount Vesuvius, but it was very expensive, and so we decided against it and spent the whole day in Pompeii, which was totally worth it. I'm not huge into ancient history. It isn't a passion of mine, but it was really, really cool to go to Pompeii and walk through everything. When we were in Naples, we did a free walking tour of the city, which was really awesome. Got to learn a lot about the history and a lot of the little quirks of the city. We got to spend some time in the Spanish Quarter and then walking down like their main streets. We toured a castle. We got classic Napoli pizza at two different very notorious places, and it was really, really good. So I understand why people travel from all over to find it, you know. Naples did it first. Naples does it best. It's very different from American pizza, but it was really, really yummy. Highly recommend. I think our favorite was Damichele, or Damichele, if you're saying it, you know, how you're supposed to. So, would recommend. Highlight of that trip. Our day in Pompeii, we kind of split up into two different chunks with lunch in the middle. And for the second half of the day, I went with Christy, and her and I just kind of walked through. We walked so much, but saw a majority of the ruins of the city. And it was just really great. Just talk with her and laugh with her and spend some time just enjoying Pompeii. And neither of us are super passionate about ancient history. So it was really nice because I think her and I were more on the same speed, and Teresa and Sophie were more on the same speed, where they were really, really interested in the details of each thing that they were looking at. So I think that we kind of paired off well, and it was a really, really fun day. Also, eating the pizza was, of course, a highlight. Week 3, Christy, Sophie, and I went to Florence. Florence is beautiful. Part of me wishes I had studied abroad there. If I'm studying abroad in Italy, it was gorgeous. We stayed in a hostel that was in a really, really awesome location, and we saw a really good amount of the city. We went into the Uffizi, which is an art gallery. It's huge and filled with so many pieces of art. I'm not really, really passionate about art, but it was amazing. We spent maybe 4 or 5 hours there. It was filled with so many different eras of art, so many different types of art. It was really, really cool to see. We also did, in classic Florence fashion, we hiked up the Duomo and the bell tower. Excuse me. We hiked up the Duomo and the bell tower, seeing beautiful views of the city. The weather was amazing. We had aperitivo one of the nights we were there, and it's one of my favorite aperitivos I've ever had. We got to see the sunset from the Piazza of Michelangelo, which like overlooks the city. It was a hike to get up there, but it was beautiful. Yeah, Florence was amazing. We really lucked out with weather. We had gelato like 40 times. It was really, really awesome. Definitely a nice trip to have like right before midterms. Week 4, spring break. Christy and I went to Barcelona and Madrid. We went to Spain for spring break and spent time in both of those cities, and it was amazing. I fell head over heels for Barcelona within 3 minutes of being there because they had a sign for brunch. But within the first day, I just turned to Christy the entire day and was just like, I'm so happy. I love it here. I'm so happy. I love it here. And it was a bittersweet kind of happiness because it was wonderful to be there. I'm so glad we picked Barcelona for spring break. But it was also really sad because I wanted to study abroad in Spain, and so being there and actually loving being there made me a little bit sad because I would have almost liked to go there and hate it and been like, oh, well, thank goodness I'm, studying abroad in Italy, but that was not the case. But it was really, really nice to be there. Between the two cities, I really enjoyed Barcelona as opposed to Madrid. I just think that they have a little bit of a different feel to them. Madrid was amazing, though. I think we didn't spend as much time in Madrid as we did in Barcelona, so I don't know if I got to see as much, but Madrid is also really focused around museums as far as things to do there, and Christy and I aren't huge museum people unless we can get in for free. We just don't want to spend a lot of money on museums, especially since I'm going to be coming back to a lot of these cities when I travel with Cole. But Christy and I still found a ton to do in Madrid. Christy and I like to walk the cities that we're in. So in Barcelona and Madrid, a lot of the time we just get off of transit or walk out of our hostel and then just walk and see what we can find. We do that with food a lot. We do that just with sightseeing a lot. I download Google Maps on my phone, and so I always know where we are, but we just kind of walk the city and see what we can find, and we end up finding amazing things this way, both places to eat or places that we never would have walked to. In Madrid, we went to see, okay, exception to the museum thing. We went to see their zoo because there are giant pandas there. There are only giant pandas in 22 places around the world that you can see, an exception to the wild, and Madrid is one of them. There are only 8 zoos that have giant pandas in the entire US and the entirety of Europe combined. So we were there and we went to see them, and it was amazing. Their zoo is huge and just so many different types of animals. I was amazed. And the zoo in Madrid was a lot different than I've only ever been to, I think, the Portland Zoo. Is that right? I'm sure I've been to other zoos too, but the one that I was comparing it to the most was the one in Portland, and just the way that the enclosures were set up, the way that there were peacocks just like roaming the zoo. Highlight for spring break. It's really hard. Okay, there are a few. First is we went to the beach in Barcelona, and that was wonderful, just to like sit on the beach. We both had homework to do, so we kind of worked on homework, and it was so nice out and it was gorgeous. I'm a coast person, so I think that might be why Barcelona just hedges a bit above Madrid, because it's on the coast. You can't beat it. Barcelona, it's on the coast. There's mountains all around it. It's so I loved it. Also, Spain has brunch, and Spain has a diversity of food that Italy does not have. And Christy and I ate all of it. We got Mexican food, we got Vietnamese food, we got Thai food, we got everything that we were craving. I got brunch. It was so nice. I love Italy, and I think the more time I spend away from Italy, the more appreciation I have for Rome. Italians do Italian food, and they do it really well. But I really miss all the other kinds of food that I really like. So it was really nice to be in Barcelona and Madrid and get pho and get Thai food and get, burritos and tacos, brunch, and we had avocado. Christy and I almost died. It was amazing. There were a bunch of natural parks in Barcelona and Madrid that were beautiful. It was just really nice. So I miss it a lot. The weather was wonderful. We stayed in hostels in both places and had like really, really funny hostel experiences. So I have a lot of stories there. It was a really, really great spring break. I'm really glad that we chose to go to Spain. Christy and I had a ton of time together. We got to know each other a lot better. It was really great. It makes me really excited for future traveling. And this weekend I stayed in Rome and I went on a study trip. It was a World War II study trip, just day trips, but we went and spent time in a German cemetery. We went to a museum, kind of looking at how Rome was affected by World War II. We went to a Roman Sicilian American cemetery. I got to help with the changing of the colors, which was a huge honor, and it was a really, really wonderful day. We got to spend time with 2 renowned historians that are both JFRC alum. I don't know if that's a plural word. I know it's alum or alumni. I imagine alumni is plural. It was great. It was really great to be on American soil for the first time in 2.5 months. It was a really awesome day. We got to see a lot and learn a lot. I've studied World War II pretty extensively, but never from an Italian perspective. It was really, really insightful and cool to learn or to look at World War II from an Axis perspective. There's a lot more emphasis on World War II and what happened there in Africa. Yeah, it was a really awesome study trip. I'm really glad that I went. I definitely learned a lot and got new perspectives on things. It was really awesome. So happy I went. So that's all of the travel that I've done. I have lots of stories from each place that I'll no doubt share once I get back. I'm doing really well. I am really happy to be here. I definitely have gained a lot of appreciation for Rome and for Italy as a whole from traveling more within Italy and then traveling outside of Italy. I've really become accustomed to their idea of breakfast and that kind of routine that they have, and really, really slow meals and, really good food and balsamic vinegar everywhere. I really like that. And no ice in anything. There are a lot of parts of Italian culture that I just like anyways. But I definitely am excited to explore Rome these next few weeks since I'll be staying here and not traveling outside of Rome. Yeah, I really am happy to be here. So it's nice. I'm really missing my family, but I'm really enjoying being here. I'm excited for the next few months. It's going to be great. I'm excited for the weather to warm up. I mean, it's been warm here, no doubt, but I'm excited for it to get like tank top weather. That is all. Yes. Bye. I should have brought down, I made a list of things to talk about, and I did not bring that list. Rats. Um,